to ensure that I could show you what we've put in place. This is just an example of an image that I have pulled together from a number of the Coin Atlantic partners because they have taken that extra step of publishing their information. They've made their information accessible. They've put together the metadata. And again, I'd love to talk about metadata if people wish, but the metadata is there. So one can go to Coin Atlantic now, and without having to know who exactly is the authoritative source for roads, or who has the national database for exploratory well holes, or who has the authoritative database for coral protection areas, and Canada does have coral protection areas and coral. That's another similarities between the Caribbean that most people may not be aware of. People can go to Coin Atlantic, and using a very simple Google tool, they're able to access the best information that exists that's been published by the various agencies. Now, the classical way of doing this would have been to pay a contractor several tens of thousands of dollars, and that contractor would know who to talk to in the province and who to talk to in the federal departments and sort their way through this chaos. I think, Robin, you put up this chaos of organizations here yesterday. Normally, you'd pay someone to sort through all those organizations to find out who has the information you want. We're trying to use the modern technology so that if the organization wants to participate, they have the tools to make their information accessible, and Coin Atlantic, or maybe Coin Caribbean, can put together something on everyone's desktop that is able to find the information they want. And again, I remind you, tourism does this very nicely without hesitation. I checked this morning. I can book a hotel in Helsinki without even know how to spell Helsinki. It corrects my spelling. So we're looking at how to make use of this technology for sustainable development, and we think we're making progress, and hopefully we can continue to make progress. So in this case, a user very quickly can access the national databases on roads. The yellow is the superficial geology that's published and accessible from the national resources. Fisheries and Ocean, the federal department, is providing the locations where species at risk are caught, and down here is the Northeast Channel Coral Conservation Area. So again, I can do this from almost anywhere in the world. My wife can do this if she was interested. Fisher folk are able to access this information in the same way. So this is where we're going, and this is where what we've gotten to. So again, why did I think it was worthwhile coming down and participating in this meeting? Well, obviously, what I've heard yesterday, and not too surprising, there's a lot of similar challenges. There's many major data providers, and talking to a number of you, I know that there's some excellent data sources within the region, no question. But for every one or two data sources you know, there's probably 10 out there that you don't know. At least that's my experience in Atlantic Canada. You basically have to know who has the data, how to contact them, make sure they're not on vacation, make sure they're in the office, download the data, and although these are all small, may seem small and minor, there are links in the chain, and if any chain is broken, any link is broken, that whole chain falls apart. So I would argue, and I'm very interested in following up on this, as to if anybody really knows how many data sources there are in the Caribbean, that would be appropriate and useful for this science policy interface. If any one person has a list, I'm guessing it'll be like the chaos of organizations we saw yesterday. Because keep in mind, some of the information you need may be held at Dalhousie University in Halifax. It may be in Rome. It may not be in your backyard. And so I believe you have the same similar problem in the Caribbean as we have in Atlantic Canada. Each national department, again, the idea of supporting and building capacity of data providers to manage their own data is the only way to provide sustainability, because they have an interest, they know what it is, and given the tools, if they're willing, give them the tools, they have the ability to provide access to the right level of data for the right use. And again, I talked about international organizations which have information, universities, private sector. When you use Google, you don't go in and you don't identify where you're going to search, or at least I don't. You type in what you want to find, and the technology is useful to find it. Why don't we use that for the important issue of environmental protection and sustainability in the Caribbean and Atlantic Canada? So that's what we're after, is trying to do that.